Hey there, gearheads. Today we're talking about a system in your car that's as vital as a good set of tires. The coolant system. You see, your car's engine gets incredibly hot when it's running. We're talking hundreds of degrees Fahrenheit. Without a way to cool down, those metal parts would quickly overheat, leading to some seriously expensive repairs. That's where the coolant system swoops in to save the day. It's like the engine's personal air conditioning system, ensuring everything stays at a safe operating temperature. And trust me, a happy engine is a happy driver. So buckle up as we dive into the fascinating world of coolant systems, where we'll explore how it works, its key components, and most importantly, how to keep it running smoothly for miles to come. Imagine the coolant system as a hard-working postal service, constantly delivering much-needed cooling to your engine. It all starts with a special fluid called coolant, sometimes called antifreeze. This fluid is a mixture of water and chemicals designed to absorb and transfer heat effectively. As your engine roars to life, the coolant begins its journey, circulating through passages within the engine block and absorbing the intense heat generated by combustion. This hot coolant then travels to the radiator, where it's cooled down before being pumped back into the engine to repeat the cycle. This continuous circulation of coolant ensures that your engine maintains a consistent temperature, preventing overheating and keeping everything running smoothly. It's a simple concept, but crucial for the health and longevity of your car's engine. Let's talk about the radiator, the unsung hero of the cooling system. Positioned at the front, the radiator's honeycomb structure maximizes surface area for heat dissipation. Hot coolant flows through thin tubes, transferring heat to the metal fins. Air flows over these fins, carrying heat away, keeping your engine cool. Now, you might be wondering how the engine reaches its optimal operating temperature quickly. That's where the thermostat comes in, acting like a gatekeeper for the coolant flow. This small but mighty valve regulates the amount of coolant that circulates through the engine. When you first start your car, the engine is cold, and the thermostat remains closed, preventing coolant from flowing to the radiator. This allows the engine to warm up faster, reaching its ideal operating temperature more efficiently. Once the engine reaches the optimal temperature, the thermostat opens, allowing the coolant to flow through the radiator for cooling. This clever mechanism ensures that your engine warms up quickly and maintains a consistent temperature regardless of the driving conditions. Section 5, the water pump, the heart of the cooling system. Just like our heart pumps blood throughout our body, the water pump is the driving force behind the coolant circulation. This hard-working component is typically belt-driven and creates the pressure needed to push coolant throughout the entire system. Without the water pump, the coolant would just sit there, unable to do its job of regulating the engine's temperature. It's a critical component that ensures the continuous flow of coolant from the engine to the radiator and back again. So the next time you hear a faint, whirring sound coming from under the hood, remember the water pump working tirelessly to keep your engine cool and happy. It's a vital part of the cooling system that deserves a little appreciation. Section 6, the coolant reservoir. The overflow tank with a purpose. You might have noticed a translucent plastic container near your radiator, often labeled as the coolant reservoir or overflow tank. This container maintains the correct coolant level in the system. As the coolant heats up, it expands, and the excess needs a place to go. The reservoir provides a temporary holding tank for this expanded coolant. When the engine cools down, the reservoir replenishes the system. Keeping an eye on the coolant level is a simple way to monitor your cooling system's health. Section 7, hoses and pipes, the coolant's highway system. The network of hoses and pipes connects all the cooling system components. These hoses and pipes act like highways for the coolant. They withstand high temperatures and pressures. Over time, they can develop cracks and leaks. Regular inspection prevents breakdowns. Look for cracks, bulges, or leaks. Replacing worn-out hoses is inexpensive maintenance. Section 8, the coolant fan, providing an extra blast of cooling power. Remember how we talked about air flowing over the radiator to cool down the coolant? Well, sometimes natural airflow isn't enough, especially when the car is idling or moving slowly. That's where the coolant fan steps in to lend a helping hand. Usually mounted behind the radiator, the coolant fan kicks into action when the engine temperature rises above a certain threshold. It draws air through the radiator, enhancing the cooling process and preventing the engine from overheating. The coolant fan is controlled by a temperature sensor, ensuring it only operates when needed. It's an essential part of the cooling system, especially in hot climates or during stop-and-go traffic. Section 9. Keeping your coolant system in tip-top shape. Now that we've covered the ins and outs of the coolant system, let's talk about how to keep it running smoothly for miles to come. Regular maintenance is key to preventing costly repairs and ensuring your engine stays cool and content. First and foremost, check your coolant level regularly. The reservoir usually has markings indicating the minimum and maximum levels. If the coolant level is low, top it off with the correct type of coolant specified in your owner's manual. Next, inspect the hoses and pipes for any signs of wear and tear, such as cracks, bulges, or leaks. If you notice any damage, have them replaced by a qualified mechanic as soon as possible. Section 10. Time for a checkup. Monitoring your coolant level. Regularly check your coolant level to prevent major headaches. Ensure the engine is cool before opening the hood. Hot coolant can cause serious burns. Locate the coolant reservoir and check the level. Top off with the correct type if low. Avoid mixing different types of coolant. Section 11. Flushing out the old when and why you need a coolant flush. Just like any other fluid in your car, coolant doesn't last forever. Over time, it can become contaminated with rust, scale, and other debris, reducing its effectiveness and potentially causing corrosion within the cooling system. That's why it's essential to flush your coolant system periodically, typically every 30,000 miles or as recommended in your owner's manual. A coolant flush involves draining the old coolant, flushing the system with a cleaning solution, and refilling it with fresh coolant. While you can technically flush your coolant system yourself, it's generally recommended to have it done by a qualified mechanic. They have the proper equipment and expertise to ensure the job is done correctly, protecting your cooling system from potential damage. Section 12, a coolant system in harmony, the key to a happy engine. So there you have it, folks. We've covered the ins and outs of the coolant system, from the hard-working water pump to the often overlooked coolant reservoir. Remember, a well-maintained coolant system is crucial for keeping your engine running cool, efficient, and happy for years to come. By understanding how the system works, performing regular checks, and addressing any issues promptly, you can avoid costly repairs and enjoy a smooth, worry-free driving experience. So, give your coolant system the attention it deserves, and it will reward you with miles of trouble-free driving.